Ladies first.
How's it, guys, and welcome to Cult Action Reviews. What do you get if you get the world's biggest action stars together in one movie?
Norris, McQueen, Swayze.
Patrick Swayze, Steve McQueen, and Chuck Norris. You get... Wait, hang on, what? Oh. Well, you don't get this movie, because we've actually got Don Swayze, Chad McQueen, and Mike Norris. That's the brother of Patrick Swayze, the son of Steve McQueen, and the son of Chuck Norris, all together in this one film.
Death Ring.
The movie? It's called Death Ring. It's from the 90s, and it's capitalizing on the last names of its stars. It's one of those low-budget action movies from the 90s that was in video stores everywhere. And sadly, it's not the best film. But it does have some very entertaining moments, as we'll find out. As the movie starts, I had to check that I hadn't put rad in by mistake, because we have the most 90s opening I've seen in a while. BMX racing to this music. Anybody else miss the 90s? It's not very exciting, but we're supposed to believe that this is the world's toughest race, as Mike Norris, our hero, goes up a tiny hill, comes back down on the other side as the hill suddenly turns into sort of a cliff, carries some rice bags a couple meters, and does some running. We're supposed to believe that this is the toughest race ever, and that competing it is some kind of grand achievement, as his girlfriend says here.
Well, I'll be happy if he just survives.
The girlfriend is failing to convince us with her terrible acting that this race is super tough. We also see that Chad McQueen, who is the son of Steve McQueen, looks like a 50s greaser. I'd also like to note here that unfortunately Chad McQueen died last year in September. He never achieved the famous heights of his father, but he was in some fun direct-to-video movies, including a couple with the excellent Cynthia Rothrock. And at the end, when our hero Mike wins the race, there's a celebration, but the race didn't look that hard. However, it does bring him to the attention of the most epic bad guy of the 80s and 90s.
50 athletes from all over the world competed in what has to be the toughest competition in sports today.
At least this movie knows how to introduce a bad guy. We get epic bad guy theme music and this introduction of Billy Drago, who's going to be the main bad guy for this movie. If you're a fan of action movies, you know Drago. He was one of the best bad guys of his time. The guy could be menacing by just standing there, as he proves here. When Drago sees Mike on TV winning the race, he decides to choose Mike as the next victim in his Most Dangerous Game ripoff. And I want to note here that he chooses Mike over a professional assassin.
Freelance assassin. Corsican. 3 names.
Just because he won this race. I'm not buying it. But Drago is great fun here, and he's great fun throughout the movie, because he is just devouring the scenery.
Risk no failures.
I mean, look how he sends an email.
That's our man. Bring him back alive.
Not gonna lie, there are times when I was working in corporate that I wanted to send emails the exact same way. At the end of the world's toughest race, the girlfriend suggests that they go somewhere fancy to celebrate. But our hero wants somewhere more low-key, and Chad McQueen, his best friend, has the perfect place. This place. Ah yes, what every girl wants. A third-rate dive bar with a third-wheeling best friend along for the ride. This is where we get some background into our hero, and we have the dialogue that suggests he's seen some shit.
I waited for 3 days before anybody knew I was still out there.
3 days all by himself behind enemy lines. That to me is a true test of survival.
We also get the tidbit that McQueen is actually a chopper pilot, and they both served in the military. Ah yes, what a great place to bring your date, because every girl wants to go to a dirty bar with a sticky floor and have drunk men harass them. This leads us into our first semi-fight scene, which isn't actually very good, if I'm being honest.
Let go! Let go!
and they leave the bar shortly after this altercation, but they're being watched. Dun dun dun! Our next scene is mostly character development. We learn that McQueen, the hero's best friend, is basically in love with him, since he follows the couple home to the girlfriend's house and cock-blocks him at every single opportunity.
Matt, batting cages.
Sleeping like a baby, huh?
We also learn that our hero is an insecure dick, because he thinks that his girlfriend having more money than he has is a terrible thing, so he's not sure whether to commit to the relationship or not, and he just comes off as a massive prick.
Look at you. Look at this place. And all I can afford is a crummy one-bedroom apartment.
You know what this girl should do? Leave him, because he's punching so far above his weight class, he can barely reach her chin.
I was just thinking.
Well, don't think, all right? I can think for myself. I don't need anybody planning my life.
The most unbelievable thing in this movie isn't the hunting men for sport thing, it's the relationship between these two. This morose, sad, insecure, annoying man would never be able to pull a woman like this. But they have an argument which results in a sex scene, a very brief one, after which the hero looks even more depressed than usual. Seriously, why he's dating this girl is beyond me. She shouldn't be forced to put up with this moron. The next morning we have a further example of our hero being an idiot, as he just leaves and leaves his girlfriend a note that says, "Sorry, brilliant boyfriend material here." Apparently he's bounced to go and hang out with his friend at the batting cage, and he's very worried about his career. We get the whole military man coming home but unable to get a good job thing, which is why he's so insecure. And we have some of that in the army. I could do this, this and this, but I'm civilian now, so I can't do anything. We do have a pretty good joke here though.
Wanted. Specialist in explosives, covert operations. Must be experienced in 30 ways to kill a man.
Hey, thing, I just saw an ad like that.
You did?
LAPD.
We also see that the bad guys hired an incompetent moron to keep an eye on the hero, because he falls asleep and loses our hero. But don't worry, they can follow the girlfriend to where the hero is at the batting cages, after which we get yet more arguing between our hero and his girl. And you know what? He is just such an annoying character. He won't have a wife or a girlfriend if he keeps up with this nonsense.
What'd you do that for?
What did she do that for? Are you friggin' serious, mate? If you're threatened by her money, mate, either get a job or don't date her. It's that simple.
I was the best soldier in that outfit. Everyone knew it.
But this is the moment where they get taken by the bad guys, and this best soldier falls for the most obvious ruse ever. Jesus. So this is our hero, ladies and gentlemen, an insecure baby man who thinks he's the best of the best, complains about how the military didn't really look after him or accept his cool better than everyone's skills, and disrespects his girlfriend.
Come on, I'm not taller than you are. I don't have bigger muscles than you do. I can't even swing a bat as well as you can. So what is it? What?
You know.
You know what? He deserves to be hunted. And the girl will probably have a better life if she dates someone else. So the bad guys take our hero and his girlfriend, and they leave their most useless member to clean up the crime scene. But of course, Chad McQueen stumbles over this numpty as he's just trying to leave the house. Chad then grabs him, notices his tattoo, and is about to get all the information he can from this guy when another guy sneaks up and knocks Chad out. Great. More brilliant soldiers in an action movie with the situational awareness of a blind slug in a wheat field. Also, I'd like to point out that it looks like the bad guy actually whacks his buddy in the head, not McQueen. We then cut to the island, and I love how this creepy island where the bad guy lives has its own theme tune. And our hero's waking up. We're now 20 minutes into this movie, and our hero has done exactly nothing except whinge and whine about how his hot girlfriend is better than him. Come on, mate, you don't have any real problems, and your dad would have killed at least 80 bad guys by now. I mean, think of all the action in the opening scenes of Lone Wolf McQuade. We then get this very James Bondy sequence where Evil Lynn, the bad guy's main henchwoman, comes in and introduces these two girls, who are, and I'm not joking here, called Bambi and Thumper.
Bambi will remain outside to see that no harm comes to you.
Bambi. What's the other one called? Thumper?
Exactly.
What was the scriptwriter on when he wrote this? But then we get a little bit of exposition, and at dinner all is revealed. This is the most dangerous game, which anybody who rented this movie back in the day knew about once they read the back of the box, or saw the poster, or saw the front of the VHS tape. Why this movie has taken so long to set this up, I do not know. But finally, can we get some action? No. No. We will not be getting action for a very long time.
I would feel like such a terrible host.
Although I will say these scenes give Billy Drago a chance to eat more scenery. If he keeps doing this, there'll be nothing left of the scenery by the time he's done.
Gentlemen, welcome.
You'll also notice that seated at the dinner table are a bunch of really well-known faces if you know action. We've even got George Chung and Branscombe Richmond. Yeah, the guy from Renegade. That's the one thing this movie has done right. All the bad guys, except for this dude, are actually stuntmen. Really good stuntmen that have worked in some of the best action films of all time. So this gives me a bit of hope that at least the fight scenes, when they finally arrive, will be good. Side note, at this point, I was still giving the movie the benefit of the doubt. I was wrong.
You'll just have to bear with me on that.
While the dinner scene is going on, we cut to McQueen, who's gone to the cops and is trying to convince them that his friend has been kidnapped. We're going to do this quite a lot during this movie. We're going to cut to McQueen doing some investigation into what's happening to his friend. And since there's no mystery there, and we know exactly what is happening to the hero, these scenes are just filler. They're no fun, they are just filler. But then we do get some entertainment when we find out the background of Drago's collection of hunters. We've got assassins and killers, and the worst of all, this guy.
Although an attorney by profession, it's my extracurricular activities that has won me infamy.
A lawyer. Side note, why do all bad guys in these films have to talk so eloquently, or attempt to talk eloquently?
Before I enumerate Mr. Collins' rather unique attributes, I think we should get quickly acquainted.
I swear this writer had a thesaurus beside him the entire time he was writing Billy Drago's dialogue. But at least we get some fun here, as Branscombe shows that he is having a great deal of fun being evil.
Very nice. Let's get on with it.
I was actually looking forward to watching him throughout this movie, but of course my hopes were dashed when Billy Drago just immediately kills him for being disrespectful. What a waste of a decent actor. They also keep making a huge thing over how the former hunt was so disappointing. And at this point in the film, I didn't think this foreshadowing would be paid off. But it will be. Just you wait. It won't be paid off in any decent way, but it will be paid off. We have what I think is the third explanation of the hero's background, and a title drop. They are all literally playing for the death ring.
Gentlemen, as always, victor goes the death ring.
Good a title as any, I suppose. and we find out that our hero is a little bit slow.
What hunt?
A manhunt, Mr. Collins.
Yeah, we figured out this was the most dangerous game ages ago. Why are you so far behind the curve? We also get a bit of background on the henchwoman. It's completely unnecessary, but hey, it pads the runtime.
How many Americans did you kill?
17?
How old were you then, Miss Ling?
I was 14 years old.
Also, I've called her Evil Lynn before, but man, she really does look like Evil Lynn from He-Man. I couldn't shake that. And I'll just call her Evil Lynn for the rest of the movie. I love Drago chewing scenery, but come on, this is an action movie. Where's the friggin' action? Oh, and of course they have the girlfriend to use her as motivation for the hero, obviously. Then we cut to Chad McQueen still finding stuff out, and the only bit of action we get at around the 30-minute mark happens off screen. As Chad beats this guy up like it's a cartoon to get information. Come on, man. Oh, Christ. Okay, so the next morning, Drago is still giving us exposition. We're 38 minutes into this film at the moment. It doesn't need this much exposition. This is just so infuriating. Get to the action. Oh, and of course the guy called Apache gets the spear, and the Asian guy, played by George Chung, gets the shuriken. So we've added racial stereotyping to the list, but at least the film is self-aware about it.
Number 2, how appropriate the spear.
I don't get a weapon? It's not very sporty now, is it?
You already have your weapon, Mr. Collins. You have your brain.
Yeah, he's completely fucked. And as our hero is sent off into the woods, you'd think it would be game on. But no, more filler. And more cultural insensitivity, as Apache does some kind of Native American ritual by chanting and burning stuff, and George Chung does some meditating. Of course, because the guy who wrote the script had never met a non-white person in his life and had the imagination of a slug.
Respect is the flower of true strength.
When it blossoms, all things are possible.
I'm glad to see your knowledge is not limited to the West.
By this point, we're 45 minutes into a 90-minute movie, and there's still been no action. But there's still some hope, because all the bad guys are played by such magnificent stuntmen. Well, 3 of them are. The lawyer dude is just a character actor who I'm sure I've seen before, but I don't remember from anywhere. Ah yes, the best camo ever. Nobody will be able to see your incredibly shiny forehead. Oh, okay, now we have more filler, but at least the hero's doing something. He's making traps and making a weapon. Trust me, the payoff for this is not going to be Rambo 2 levels of good. And now there's some snake filler? Seriously? Oh, come on, for the love of God, just drink the obvious juice and get to the action already. And, of course, the guy called Apache can track really well. What the heck is he smelling on the dirt here? 'Cause I can't imagine it smells good. 50 minutes into this 90-minute film, and it finally looks like we're getting to some action as George stumbles over the traps. Except he sees them immediately because our hero is an idiot. And this happens. 50 minutes in, all this time to plan, all this build-up of this guy being this excellent flipping soldier, the best of the best of the best, and he friggin' misses! Ugh. It was at this point that I knew this movie was gonna be absolutely terrible.
Fox was right. You are better than the others.
Damn straight.
If this guy is better than the other hunts that they went on, the other ones they hunted must have been unable to move or see anything. And the hero even runs away at one point. And then George says this.
I've always heard that your Green Beret maggots are very good at martial arts.
This dude is not good at martial arts. He sucks at it. And this fight scene actually isn't badly choreographed or that badly done. It's very unimaginative, but I think the reason it's not absolutely unwatchable is George's input. The end is hilarious though, as our hero is surprised by his own trap. You set it up, mate. Why are you surprised that it worked? Oh, right, because you're an idiot and you can't do anything right.
Box! I hope you can hear me. 'Cause your Mr. Chin is now Mr. Dead.
Do I even have to comment on that line? Really?
I congratulate you on your fortitude.
Now, we have even more filler, as Chad finds out that the dude he caught in the girlfriend's house is actually a Satanist. Yep, we're bringing Satanists into this. And he was from some kind of Satanist compound that Chad is gonna now go to investigate. And while Chad is doing this, our hero falls in a hole. Because he's deaf, dumb, and blind.
I don't fucking believe this.
And of course, Chad just immediately gets captured because he starts blowing apart a convenience store with a shotgun, like the highly trained soldier that he is. And we are introduced to this guy, Jessup, who's the leader of the Satanists. And he's not happy because his followers have been working with Drago to kidnap people to bring to Drago's island of death. And Jessup just isn't happy about this. He's so not happy that he's killed the members that have been working with Drago. And he lets Chad know where the island is so that Chad can go and rescue his friend. Jessup only appears in this one scene, but at least he's suitably menacing.
What'll happen to him?
Trust me, you don't want to know.
By this point, I was wondering where Don Swayze was. He's very prominently featured on the cover. You'd think he would be in the whole movie. But no, he's not. But he does appear here, hiding in the same hole that the hero conveniently fell into. Apparently Swayze was the last hunt, so at least we get some payoff to the ridiculous amount of build-up that was given to it. So how did Swayze survive? Well, easy really. He faked his death and then hid in this cave for 2 months with a broken leg. What he was eating, drinking on this island is just skipped over. But he's alive and now he's in the movie and he at least has some charisma. Meanwhile, the cop and Chad are making a plan. They find where the island is. But instead of just cutting to Chad getting in a helicopter, we have him going to the airport to get in the helicopter and we watch him doing this. This girl is actually his current girlfriend. He proved his loyalty to his friend by catching her naked in his house, giving her a kiss, and then going off to find the Satanist. Oh, he's actually quite a good friend, really.
Look, it's not like I don't want to be with you. I just got an emergency.
That outfit cost me $69.95, plus tax.
Swayze and our hero make a plan, but of course when the hero goes out to recon the area, Apache is watching. We then get Billy Drago saying this.
This will be good.
No, it won't be good. And I was right. The fight is uninspired, there's a lot of jumping and screaming, and Apache dies. You had this brilliant stuntman and you didn't make use of any of his talents except jumping from high places and screaming while he does so. And this really uncomfortable thing keeps happening throughout the movie. Whenever there's violence, Drago and Evil Lynn get busy to the sounds of it. Not to kink shame, but man, this is really messed up. I think these two need some help. Also, this is an action movie. I want to see the fighting, not see two people making out to the sounds of fighting. There's some more jibber jabber. Drago finds out the hero's location and the two remaining hunters go to hunt him down. And then this happens. I told you lawyers were the worst. This is annoying to me personally, because this dude, the dude that the lawyer just killed, whose name is Iceman by the way, was played by another really good stuntman who's been in a ton of good action films. So instead of having the stuntman do the fight, they have the character actor do the fight. And will it be a good fight? No. No, it won't. The hero doesn't even kill him. Swayze does, from behind. Brilliant stuff. We do, however, get this pretty funny line.
That was the Iceman's.
The Iceman is melted.
And into the climax we go. Finally, Swayze and our hero get a hold of assault rifles, and we find out that the hero isn't really that good of a soldier. This is not how you shoot an assault rifle. The iron sights are on the top of the weapon for a reason, you numpty. But at least McQueen arrives and carpet bombs some guys with grenades. And while this is all going on, something weird is happening with Drago, his henchwoman, and the girlfriend. Because the girlfriend's getting tied down by the... Yep. And then this is just getting really uncomfortable.
The master has a plan.
There's more filler, like this film needs any more of it, just get to the friggin' action. Bambi and Thumper, who were built up as these cool henchwomen, disappoint immediately. Bang! And so does Evil Lynn.
Ladies first.
Yep, just thrown out a window. We then have the final fight with Billy Drago, which isn't actually that bad. Although, it does look like Drago has never used a katana in his life. I mean, look at this mad swinging. All in all, it's the best fight we've had in this film. And the final kill is pretty cool, as our hero stabs Drago in the balls and then cuts his head off. Cool stuff. And just as they're about to get away for good, the hero decides that he has to go back for something. What that something is, we don't know. But as he's running back towards the house, Evil Lynn appears and immediately destroys this expert soldier. Great. This woman was thrown out a window, man, and she just kicked your ass. And instead of the hero killing Evil Lynn, his girlfriend does, by shooting her in the back. Then they get on a helicopter, and it's a happy end for all as they take off and fly away. But what was he getting from the house?
What did you go back into the house for?
To collect my prize.
Oh, the death ring. He says he earned it. What a great reminder of a really traumatic and horrifying event. I'm sure his therapist is gonna love it. And this movie's credits have one last surprise for us. Jessup was played by himself. Yeah, the evil Satanist guy was played by himself. Well, that's weird. Did the film actually find a Satanist in Hollywood to play himself?
Trust me, you don't want to know.
And that's what happens when you get the relatives of some of Hollywood's biggest action stars to star in an action movie. You get a really boring action movie. And I don't know why either, because this film had all the elements of an incredible film. It had Billy Drago playing a bad guy, a couple of really cool martial artists in the lead role with McQueen and Norris, and we had the great stunt guys like George Chung in bad guy roles. This could have been awesome, but instead of focusing on the fights, they had a dickish hero talking about how insecure he is for ages, and then, after his fight on the island, somehow realizing that his girlfriend is actually better than him and he should probably hold on to her for as long as he can. Man, this film tries for character building, it tries for story, and it fails at all of it. And the things that should have made it good were the fight scenes. But none of those were good either. So my advice, don't watch this film. Although an interesting thing to note, the director of this film went on to be the sound guy for a lot of huge Hollywood productions, including Christopher Nolan's films. So he definitely went up in the world. And that's it for this week's episode of Cult Action Reviews. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Until next time, where I check out a really weird, wonderful, and insane blaxploitation film with the best twist in action movie history. See you next time.
That outfit cost me $69.95 plus tax.